Super mixers were added in the 1.0 update for Grounded. They are tougher defenses than the normal mixers and reward more raw science. In this video, I'll be showing you an easy to use strategy for defending them. So as you can see here, we have a super mixer, and this is going to be the one that's located south of the tire that's laying in the ground and north of the broken pipe. So it's just sitting right here. I wanted to show you what it looks like before I show you my building for it. So it's down in this little, I guess little chasm here, or whatever you want to call it, maybe this little ditch. And the good thing about that is they end up only attacking, the enemies only attack from basically two sides. So they're going to attack from this side, which will be the west side, as well as the north side over here. You're only going to really have to defend basically from this little rock over, actually basically the stick over here, all the way around to over here. When I did this, I didn't see any enemies spawning up top or coming around the top over here, nor did I see them coming from over here. That doesn't mean you shouldn't build over there, because if you don't build, they will probably go to a place where there's no walls. So I would recommend building all the way around it. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at the defenses I built, and I will show you the actual defense and the super easy strategy I used to make this defense very easy. So for the defenses, I chose to use a combination of the mushroom walls and the crow feather roofs. This is just in case there was any flyers. I do have super gas arrows as my primary mode of offense here to take down the enemies. Also have a mint mace, and I do have I have fire ant armor on, as well as I have my spicy tick sword. You can see I have heals in my bar there, so not really using any buffs other than eating a black ox burger. So on the outside here, we just have layers of mushroom walls, and I did put the spike strips on the walls that I knew were going to be attacked. That way it'll just kind of slow them down a little bit. And basically the strategy here is to cluster them up and then just shoot the super gas arrows at them. It's going to be very easy to take them down. One other thing you want to make sure you do is make sure you have a respawn point set nearby, just in case you end up dying, because you don't want to have to like run all the way back over and end up losing because of it. I also have a turret up here just in case to see how that goes, and we'll be using the toxicology badge. So basically what we're going to be doing here is just waiting for them to cluster up. For mutations, I would recommend if you have using guard dog, because you should have probably already completed the regular mixers by now. And then Ant Annihilator is going to be useful against for this specific defense, because you're going to see here there's a lot of fire ants early on. And then besides that, you can kind of just use whatever you want. So basically, like I said, we're just going to be monitoring the whole defense here. We should only have to defend two sides. So the soldiers are coming up. The soldiers are the enemies that are going to do a lot of damage. So basically what you're going to do here is shoot them with the gas and then just chip away at their health using the regular other arrows, either feather arrows or whatever arrows you want to use. And your arrows of choice, feather arrows I use because they're pretty cheap. If you can manage to get eye shots on any of the types of ants, it'll actually do like tremendous damage to them. So be mindful of that, and it'll just help you take them down faster. But I would kind of try to preserve your super gas arrows for late. Like, you don't want to be using a super gas arrow on one enemy unless it's like super tanky. So like this guy right here, just take out solo. So that now we're going to see we have these guys coming up here. And as you can see, so the soldiers did spawn up top, but instead of attacking the back, for some reason they went to the side here. I don't have spike walls around this side, so that was kind of interesting that they're deciding not to go to the side where there's not spike walls. And as you can see, the ants are pretty, they're just kind of just going to stand here, take the gas. As soon as the gas wears off, just switch back, hit them with another gas arrow. And this is going to make the defense pretty easy, because honestly, what the problem here, the biggest challenge here, especially solo, is defending multiple sides. If you go down there and try to do melee combat and you're not killing them really quickly, then it's going to end up being a disaster, because they're going to be hitting you from multiple sides at the same time. If you do go down there, using the mint mace would definitely be helpful, because the mint mace a level 9 mint mace will 3-shot the the fireworker ants, and it'll take down the soldiers, I think in like 5 or 6 hits, something like that. So probably a good idea to go down here and collect all the parts in between, and then we're gonna let these guys cluster up. That way it'll clear up so you can see where actually the new enemies are spawning in. You don't have to do that, it just makes it a little bit easier. And basically we're just gonna be going through the same strat here. We're about 40% in. And because of the toxicology badge, we can fall down into the super gas without taking any damage, really. So far they've only broken a little bit of the walls. Another thing you'll probably notice I did here was I did put some grass floor pieces up here. That was just so that if I fell down into my little honeycomb of walls, that I didn't end up getting stuck and not being able to get out. And like I said, mainly just focusing on the soldiers here. I would also probably, before you start this defense, if you do like after you've built, go do a little patrol around to make sure there's no other big enemies, because this area does have lots of fire ants wandering through. It'll also occasionally have a black ox beetle or some ladybirds, depending on if they follow you around over here. But there's definitely a nonstop patrol of fire ants. In fact, my biggest concern when I was building, and you can see some ladybird larvae off in the distance, my biggest concern was when I was building this that because I was coming with the fire soldier worker ants, that we were going to end up I was going to end up getting raided before the thing even started. So here off in the distance, this is going to be our first beefy enemy. There's going to be 2 roly-polies coming in. Now, again, my strategy here is going to be to let the gas do most of the work and just kind of like keep them at bay. If you go down there and try to take on 2 of them at the same time, it could be disastrous. So they're basically just going to do their attack. Luckily, this guy got stuck back here. I'm not sure if that was supposed to happen or not, but he's stuck. So we're basically just going to keep this guy constantly gassed, which is going to end up doing 2 things. 1, it's going to drain his health, and 2, it's going to stop him from attacking because he's going to go roll up into his little ball to try to out-heal it, which means he's not going to be attacking our walls. And we're about, I bet it's like 2/3 of the way through here. And so far, we've not really taken hardly any damage, just a couple of walls broken. We still have multiple layers left here. So overall, I'm feeling pretty confident about this run. And right now, there's only 2. Now we have, as soon as I said that, now we have more fire ants coming in. So we're just going to keep them in the gas. You'll notice they do an AoE attack here. So you want to make sure the goal is to keep them away, because I believe, especially during the final defense, when I failed it a bunch of times, I believe what ended up happening was they were doing AoE attacks through the walls. I'm not sure. I don't think that's like intended. And here comes a bunch of soldiers. So again, just keep gassing them. Now, fortunately enough, they're all clustering up here, so we're having to use far less. And you can see there's quite a bit of enemies down there. So if you were trying to do this using your melee weapon, it could be pretty tough. One of the roly-polies died from the gas, which is going to be very helpful because they're going to do the most damage here. But yeah, during the final defense, I failed it a bunch of times, and I think it was because there were so many fire ants, and they were basically doing their AoE acid attack, and I think it was just going through the walls and damaging, because I was taking damage when there was no holes in my structures. So this guy is a super tank. He's still alive somehow. The other one died. And basically, there's nothing else coming right now. As you can see, all the fire ants are gone. And now we have 2 more roly-polies. We're at about, I guess, 85, 90%. This is where it can start to get dicey, especially if you were down there. Imagine being down there and trying to fight 3 or 4 of these guys at the same time. Now, unfortunately, I ran out of gas arrows. So what we're going to be doing here is basically just shooting them and hoping our defenses just hold up here, because there's really just no reason to go down there and fight them hand-to-hand other than to, like, kite them away. And now this guy's starting to do some damage. He's getting pretty close, and we're about at 90%, so I think I'm going to start whacking him a couple times and just try to kite him away a little bit, maybe. Because what we don't want to do is have him just get in there, and I'm not sure how much damage he can do to the mixer itself if he hits it. So this guy's been the tank of the thing. And now, look at that. That one spin took out a bunch of walls. So let me get down here and kite him a little bit, because we're at about 95%. And I don't think any more enemies are going to come. There's some soldiers over there. We're just going to let them do their thing, because as you can see, they're not even getting through over there. They basically just destroyed some walls on this side, but that side they've done very little work, and we're looking pretty good here. I don't know what this roly-poly's doing. He's just giving like a little. Now he's going to come actually try to hit us, but that's fine, because it looks like we have successfully defended this bad boy. So there you go. That's a super easy strategy. So let's jump up here and see what the reward's going to be. And this time it's going to be 4,000 raw science, which is, I believe some of them were 2,000. Or are they all 2,000? I think the regular ones are 2,000 each. So you got 3 of these super mixers, which is going to be a total of 12,000 raw science. So if you're needing raw science to purchase everything, that's going to be a good way of doing it. And like I said, after you're done doing this, tear the whole thing down and then just use those mushroom blocks. You can recycle them. You'll probably get about half of them back. You can use those for defending the next one. So anyway, if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. And here's another video you might enjoy as well.